Baby, dance the night away.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about what things that you want to prep before you go to Japan. This video is going to be packed with information, so be sure to stay till the end. Let's get started.
Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better.
The first thing that I want to talk to you about is booking your flights and your hotel. There's two websites that I love to use to book flights. One is Google Flights and two is Hopper. Google Flights has a calendar that you can go in and see what days are the cheapest days to fly out. Sometimes leaving on a Wednesday is far cheaper than leaving on a Friday. So you can check those price differences out. Then you can really plan on what days that you want to go to Japan. Another website that's great is Hopper, and I use it as an app. I think it's only an app, to be honest with you guys. Download the app Hopper. If you have dates already set in mind, Hopper is a great way to go. You're gonna tell Hopper, I wanna go from LA to Tokyo on this day to this day. You're gonna put that in. It's gonna tell you, right now it's $500. This is a great price. Or it'll say, right now it's $500, but we think that it's gonna get cheaper. So Hopper tells you whether you wanna wait to book a flight or if you should book it now based on their algorithm of telling you in the past if it has been cheaper or if it has been more expensive. So it'll tell you when's a great time to book, now or wait. So I love using Hopper, and then Hopper alerts you whenever there's a price difference, whether it goes up or down, and it will tell you it's down to $475. This is the lowest we've seen. We really recommend you book now. And I'm telling you, as soon as you get that notification, you want to book it, because there have been times where I waited and the price is gone and it's gone up like several hundreds of dollars. So book it as soon as you get that notification. Very important. For hotels, one of the things that I love to use is TripAdvisor. If you already know a location that you want to be staying at in Tokyo, I really recommend TripAdvisor because it's going to give you all of the hotels in that area. It's going to have all the reviews, a bunch of pictures. One pro tip that I want you to know when you're booking a hotel, look at TripAdvisor, look at the pictures, and look at the bathroom pictures. One time, Jim and I stayed at a hotel in Japan and it looked great, but we didn't look at the pictures close enough. And their bathroom, he was way too big for it. It was so tiny. Make sure you look at those pictures. Make sure you're like, okay, maybe that is a shower room that I wouldn't fit in, or it's a shower that my head would pop out. And I have a picture actually of him with his head popping out of the shower and he could only wash his body. So make sure you're looking at the pictures of the bathroom. Make sure you're looking at the pictures of the actual space that you have. One time we stayed in a hotel and we didn't even have enough space to put our luggage down. That was kind of an inconvenience. It's not just about price. Make sure you're looking and make sure you're being diligent and doing your research on what kind of hotel room fits your needs. If you're not sure about what area to stay in Japan, I could do a whole video on that, but it's really going to be based on what kind of activities that you're going to want to do when you're in Tokyo. If you're planning to travel all throughout Japan, I really recommend you staying somewhere local to where the bullet train stops. For example, Tokyo Station is one of the main bullet train stops. You would want to stay near Tokyo Station so that it's easy for you to get onto the bullet train and you don't have to lug your luggage around going from train station to train station. For example, if you decided to stay in Shinjuku, because that is one of the main hubs in Tokyo, you stay in Shinjuku. Well, Shinjuku Station is not a bullet train stop. You would have to take all of your luggage. If you're staying a couple nights in Kyoto, take all of your luggage, get on the train from Shinjuku to Tokyo Station. Then from Tokyo Station, you would get on the bullet train, but you would have all this luggage. Those are some of the things that you want to think about, convenience wise. Could you take a taxi to the Tokyo Station? Sure. It just gets pricey. So keep all those things in mind. I would say one of the major things that you want to keep in mind is the train stations, and it's not easy to get around a Tokyo train station. There are thousands of people commuting to work, rushing, walking fast. You don't want to get in their way. You don't want to seem too lost. There are signs everywhere. A lot of the bigger train stations have multiple exits. Shinjuku probably has 20 to 30 exits. If you don't know which way you're going, you could easily get lost. One time, Jim and I got lost in Shinjuku Station for maybe an hour and a half, and we just kept coming back to the same taxi area, and we're like, what are we doing wrong? We just kept coming back and forth. I finally had to call my brother to get me out of there. So make sure that you keep in mind that the train stations are not easy. You do not want to be with luggage trying to navigate through train stations. That leads me to another point that I want to make when trying to decide what hotel to stay at. I highly recommend going on the airport limousine bus website, checking out what hotels they directly stop at, and picking one of those hotels to stay at. Why airport limousine bus? It's one of the biggest buses going from Narita or Haneda into the city, and with luggage, I highly recommend you just take the bus. The bus takes your luggage for you. It drops you off right off your hotel. You don't have to worry about it. There are other options, and I will have another video that I'll link later that will have more information on this, but there are several ways to get from the airport to the city, but my top recommendation is taking the limousine bus there. If you've spent a few days in Tokyo and you're getting used to the train stations and you're understanding how the public transportation works in Japan, then by all means take the train back from the city to Narita, fine. But when you first land and you're not familiar, I highly suggest you just take a bus. Trust me, please. You're gonna have luggage with you. You don't want to be, going up and down the stairs of a train station amongst thousands of people trying to get somewhere and in a rush. And then once you're at the station, trying to figure out which exit to go to, and then getting out of the exit and then going, where is my hotel? I don't know which way to start walking. Yes, there's Google Maps. Yes, all of that, but it's just hard when there's so many people and you have all of your luggage with you. So trust me on this. It's probably my biggest pointer I would give anyone going to Japan is take the bus from Narita to your destination. If you can't afford one of the hotels on the airport limousine bus list and you want to take an Airbnb, great. Whatever you do, take the bus to the nearest area where your Airbnb is and then take a taxi. If you guys want tips on how to take a taxi or what to say to the taxi driver, I can definitely do a video on that as well. So let me know in the comments below. The next thing you want to get ready is a Japan travel pass. Are you going to want one or are you not? And I could do another separate video on this because it could go on and on. But a Japan travel pass is in essence a pass that allows you free rides on any JR product. If you need to go on a bullet train, a JR bullet train from Tokyo to Osaka or Tokyo to Kyoto, you could definitely do that on the bullet train. There are 3 types of bullet trains and you're gonna have to take the slowest bullet train that makes the most stops, but you can definitely take it for free. And then any JR train, just flash your badge at the turnstiles and they just let you through. Does it work on every single train in Tokyo? No, it only works on the JR pass. And I'll leave a link below where you can calculate whether it's going to be worthwhile for you. I think a week's pass right now is about $270, and that's subject to change based on when you're watching this. But right now, 2020, it is about $270 for a 7-day pass. A round trip bullet train from Tokyo to Kyoto back is about $260. So if you're gonna be going different places in Japan, I definitely think it is worth it to get a JR pass. It's only $10 difference, and you're definitely gonna use $10 going intercity in Tokyo using the JR pass. So I definitely think that's something you should look into. Is it feasible for everybody? No. If you're only staying in the city and you're gonna be in Shinjuku and you're only gonna be doing Shinjuku area things, it's not gonna be worth your money. Really evaluate what you're gonna be doing when you're in Tokyo, and then that's how you'll decide whether a JR pass is right for you. I'll leave a link below of a calculator where you can put in the things that you're gonna be doing in Tokyo, and it'll calculate for you how much those things cost, and then you can compare it versus, a week's $270 pass. The next thing you want to get ready is a mobile Wi-Fi or SIM card. What I usually do when I go to Japan is I reserve a mobile Wi-Fi or what they call a pocket Wi-Fi. The reason I do that is because I'm usually traveling with Jim, and if we do a pocket Wi-Fi, both of us can connect to it, or anybody that's traveling with us can connect to one device. I think it's up to 4 to 6 users depending on which one you reserve. I'll leave a link below on which company I like to use for the pocket Wi-Fis, but I usually pick that up at the airport or I have it delivered to my parents' house, which You know, you can also have it delivered to your hotel, but I think it's wise to pick it up at the airport so that you're connected as soon as you land. You'll need your apps, which I'll talk about later, Google Maps, whatnot. You'll have to get your bearings straight and you will need to get connected, and you don't want to pay those crazy roaming charges. So you want to make sure that you're connected as soon as you get there. Then you want to get the pocket Wi-Fi right at the airport. Very easy to use. It's about $2 to $5 a day depending on how much memory that you want, but I highly recommend getting it. It's so easy. It probably costs us $90 for a week's trip. They give you a envelope to send it back in when you're done. I put it in right when I'm back at Narita leaving, and there's a post office little box at Narita, so I just seal it up right before I'm done and put it in, and then at Narita you have Wi-Fi, so you don't really need it. You have coverage the entire time. I can't talk too much about a SIM card because I've never done it. I have had friends who have done the SIM card and loved it, but it's just your personal SIM card that gets changed. So you can weigh out which one is going to work best for you. Currency exchange. How do you change your money? Where is the best place to change your money? Well, my recommendation is that you don't change your money until you get to Japan, and you just go to an ATM at a 7-Eleven. There's 7-Elevens everywhere, and do a withdrawal. It's gonna give you the best rate, and it's super easy to do. Before then, you're not gonna really need cash. If you do your Japan trip the way that I'm suggesting, and you get to Narita, pick up your mobile Wi-Fi that you've already prepaid for, take the bus to your hotel. The airport limousine bus can be reserved with a credit card, so you're good there, and you don't have to reserve the airport limousine bus in advance. Once you get there, there's a limousine bus kiosk, really big, orange, and it's easy to find, and you can do that there. Then you won't need any cash until you get into the city and you can find a 7-Eleven. There's 7-Elevens everywhere, so you should be covered, and that's the best rate that you can get. I can't speak for other ways, the airport, going through your bank, whatever it is, they're gonna take an extra fee from you. So if you are okay with that and you want a little bit of cash, please go ahead. But I would just get a little bit at the airport and then get the majority in Japan at a 7-Eleven. The next thing I want to talk about is calling your credit card company and making sure that they know that you're going to be traveling abroad so that your card isn't getting declined when you're in Japan. I think a lot of credit card companies, you're able to do that from your app or online now. You don't have to call, but definitely do that. Don't forget to do that. That's something that you want to prep for before you get there. The other thing that I will say, when you're using your credit card in Japan, they will always ask you, do you want this transaction in yen, in Japanese yen, or would you like to convert it to dollars? Always choose the home country that you're in, right? So if you're in Japan, you always want to say Japanese yen, and you want to let your bank convert it, not them. Next, what apps should you have before you go to Japan? Let's get some apps downloaded, right? If you're an iPhone user, the number one app that you should get is Suica, Suica. Suica is a card that lets you preload some money into it, and you can use it for train fare, you can use it for vending machines, you can use it at convenience stores. It's really handy. If you have a Japan Rail Pass, you're thinking, I don't need a Suica. I'm telling you, Japan Rail Pass doesn't work for every single train out there. So if you have a Rail Pass and a Suica, you're covered. The Suica is just like an easy swipe when you're going through the turnstiles. If you have the app, you just use your phone, and you don't even have to have the app open. You just have to have your phone and it swipes. You can also use it at vending machines. You can use it at convenience stores when you're paying. You don't have to carry all that change. Get the Suica app if you have iPhone. Sorry, Android users. They don't have an app for Suica for those yet. Another app that's great is Japan Taxi. There is no Uber in Japan, so they have something called Japan Taxi where you can hail a taxi off of your app and they'll come to you. So Japan Taxi is a handy one. Keep in mind, Japanese taxis are pretty pricey. Use it sparingly, but know that it's there. So it's nice to have just in case of an emergency. If it's raining or whatnot and all of a sudden you have to get a taxi, it's great to get that app, Japan Taxi app. The next one you want to make sure you have is Google Maps. It tells you all the routes, how to take which train, what train's the fastest, what time it's coming, which platform to stand on. It's really handy because there's so many platforms in Tokyo train stations, and sometimes you think you're waiting in the right platform and then you went the wrong way. So that has definitely happened to me. So make sure that you download Google Maps. It tells you everything. If you can download a map of Tokyo before you go, I would highly recommend that too, because if you land and you don't have your pocket Wi-Fi yet, then you can use the downloaded map to figure out where you're at. Next is make sure you have comfy shoes. I cannot tell you how much you're going to be walking when you're in Japan. On average, me and most of my friends that go there, 20 to 40,000 steps a day. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not used to walking that in my normal life here in LA. I'm used to walking like 5,000 steps. So it's like times 10. So a lot of times what I'll do too, if I know I'm going to Tokyo or Japan, is that I'll start training a month before. I'll start running every morning, or I'll start, consciously trying to walk more so that I can gear my body up for all the steps I'm going to be taking when I'm in Japan. But definitely comfy shoes. And the one comfy shoe that I can suggest to you, and again, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, I just love their shoe. It's really comfortable shoe, is Allbirds. Jim and I both have Allbirds, and it really is cushiony and comfy and can go all day in Allbirds. So I love Allbirds. I also love my Rothy's, but Allbirds is a lot more comfortable than my Rothy's. So I will tell you, Allbirds. If you can get your hands on some, get some Allbirds before you go to Japan. The next thing that you guys might not be thinking about too much is a handkerchief. Why a handkerchief? Because all of the public restrooms in Japan do not have towels, or some of them are starting to have hand dryers now, but a lot of them don't. So you wash your hands and then you have wet, soppy hands and you're walking around everywhere, and it's kind of gross. You'll notice a lot of Japanese people carry handkerchiefs with them to the restroom, wash their hands, and then they have like a little towel, or it's a handkerchief, but sometimes I have a mini towel that I bring as well. So I carry the handkerchief everywhere. If you can't find one here, you can definitely buy one in Japan, and I almost highly recommend you buy one in Japan because they have such cute designs and there's so many different things. I have a Totoro one and I have a Hello Kitty one and all the things that you can't get here. So that's something that you can think about buying over there, but definitely have something, because once you get there and you're going into public restrooms, you're not going to be able to wipe your hands anywhere. The other thing that I want to make sure that you guys bring is some Ziplocs. Whenever you have trash, there's no trash cans in Tokyo. Don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% sure, but I think because of some terrorist scares in the past, they've done away with a lot of the trash cans. And you'll see a bunch of Japanese people just put it back in their purse. I like to carry a Ziploc so I can put my trash in there, and then when I get back to the hotel or back to the house, I can just dump it there. But there aren't a lot of trash cans, so maybe carry one Ziploc with you at all times. With that being said, also carry a coin purse. The Japanese coins go up to $9. So from 0 to 999 yen, it's going to be all coins. We don't get into the actual bills until you get into 1,000 yen. You get a lot of coins whenever you shop and you have to pay cash. Japan is more of a cash society. There are places that take cards, but mostly cash. You're going to get a lot of change. So having a coin purse is really handy. If you have your normal wallet, you're just going to be inundated with coins. So carry a coin, carry a handkerchief, carry a Ziploc. The last thing I want to talk about is making sure that you have the right AC adapter for any of the electronic things that you need to use in Japan. If you're coming from the US, there is no need to get an AC adapter. All of your things will work in Japan just fine. If you're coming from any other country, you'll want to get an AC adapter. If you have a curling iron, a hairdryer, or whatever it is, your laptop that you want to use, you're going to have to get an AC adapter, or else you're not going to be able to plug into the plugs in Japan. So make sure you have that ready to go. And lastly, as a bonus, you should definitely watch my 10 key phrases that you should learn before you go to Japan video. I'll link it here. And that's it. Did I miss anything? Do you feel more prepared to go to Japan now? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.